Американская фирма Transceptor Technology приступила к производству компьютеров «Персональный спутник».
All right, we are on. Actually, I think we are. I'm never quite sure about anything really. I was about to say just about anything, but I'm never really quite sure about anything. I'm just gonna get right into today. I used to spend a fair amount talking about our sponsors and stuff like that, but we don't have any. So which makes things easier. Hold on one second. Just gotta let my dog in. Oh, there you go. Just let yourself in, I guess. I guess that's what we're doing these days. Here, buddy. Come on. You guys all know Jet. He's my little partner here through this whole thing. But yes, welcome back to Bored to Death. I know it's kind of few, and the episodes are few and far between these days, but there's a lot going on, and Luke and Chris are coming back soon, so you guys will not have to just look and or listen to me for much longer, or at least just me. I will still be a prominent member of the cast of the show, but anyways, I digress. So, getting right into things, I want to, man, there's some things I see that I don't want to say bother me. Hold on a second. I'm just going to adjust the microphone here, and this gives me a good opportunity to flex for the camera, which is really what it's all about. So, Jesus. Now I know what people feel like that have a giant dick in front of their face. I don't know. I don't know where my head goes. But so getting right into things, I wanted to talk about. I'm going to get into a very deep topic that needs to be discussed, but I wanted to I don't know, kind of get into some other stuff first. You guys may be hearing this jingle on my wrist. This is one of the cool bracelets. I just want to put up to the camera. This is one of the cool bracelets we sell on our VetPaw store. The money for these goes directly to Tampa Bay schools here in the United States, and then of course the majority of it stays in South Africa in the areas that that VetPaw is involved in. So again, go to our store. You can get these bracelets and all those shirts you see that. Excuse me. All these shirts that you see I wear, like on my Instagram posts and stuff like that. Okay, moving along. So, some things that I observe on social media, and this is there are good things about social media, and a lot of them have to do with I don't know, seeing things that give you an idea where people's energies are, or what people are worrying about, or or things like that. And it sometimes some of them bother me, but then I sit and I think about it and kind of let that process a little bit, and then I stick it away and I put it somewhere where on the podcast I can discuss some of those things after they've kind of marinated a little bit. And one of those was I saw a friend of mine that I served in the military with, and follow each other on the gram and shit like that, and had a business idea that looked like it was unscrupulously stolen from him off of some stuff off social media. And there was quite a few posts that, you know, followed this, you know, and how the person felt, a bunch of his friends, you know, reposting some stuff, and as we do. And man, I tell you, the first thing that popped in my head was, if this creates that much anger and discontent at this early of a stage, that's going to be a long road, a long shitty road, for this person that is feeling ripped off. And I guess that's where the discussion, I guess, is that I'm starting is headed. And that's that feeling of being ripped off, that feeling of being possibly taken advantage of. There's a lot of things we do, a lot of things we don't do, because we hold back, because that's a legitimate fear, is us being worried about being taken advantage of. There's whether it's merited or not, a lot of that is ingrained in us through past experiences, through how we were raised, relationships, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, anybody that we feel that has taken our kindness or generosity for granted. Excuse me, sorry. I should have really spent more time getting comfortable before this. But, and there's the thing right there. It's being taken for granted is obviously a feeling. Being taken advantage of is a feeling that we get from an experience. And I will tell you right now, you can only be feeling taken advantage of and feeling cheated is all a state of mind. You cannot be taken advantage of, and you cannot be cheated unless you allow yourself to feel like that. Because let's back up. Let's back up. Let's take everything, you know, put it in reverse. Every single thing about this goes back to intention, right? It all goes back to intention. What the fuck was your intention to begin with? If it got to this point and you didn't get the outcome that you wanted, you know, when we don't get the outcomes we wanted, that's called lessons, right? That's called lessons. And whether we choose to learn from those or not is up to us. But when it all goes back to intention, like let's say, oh God, and I hate to use I know everybody thinks I love talking about myself. I do not. It's actually the dumbest topic I can think of. But if speaking of intention, and so we can't get taken advantage of if our intention is pure at the beginning, and if our mindset is is in the right place in the beginning. And here's an example. I do not like talking about it because I do not like spotlighting myself and saying like, here, look what I do, be like me, I'm better than everybody, because I do not think that. I'm just a fucking dude that does what he wants. And there's that confuses a lot of people. because they are used to being taken advantage of, or somebody doing something for them and them wanting something in return for that. And I will be the first to say, I do not care what I get in return, because I have already gotten a gift in being able to share that experience of giving. So it was brought up to me when I was talking with a close friend about, sorry, I'm just going to take a drink here, and hopefully I'll kind of make more sense, but and it was brought up to me that, well, man, Heath, during this last year, and I think I might have mentioned it once or twice on the podcast. This last year, I gave away half of everything I have, monetarily speaking, and going back to halfway through 2020 into 2021, and it was a goal I had with my coach. I was just like, I just want to do it to see how I can operate with that, if it's something that's possible. I like living under a sort of constant pressure, and so that went along with that as a training exercise for me. Was it a extremely expensive training exercise? Yes, it fucking was. But valuable, and the value I got out of it. I know it sounds cheesy, and I don't expect anybody to understand this, but I think the value I got out of it far exceeded the money I put into it. Anyways, not to get too far off topic. The friend I was having this discussion with was brought up a point like, well, Heath, didn't are you sure some of those people deserved it, or are you sure some of those people didn't use you or take advantage of you? No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I hope they didn't. But at the end of the day, when we do an act for somebody, it's not to get something it's not a quid pro quo. It's not like, we don't do this, tit for tat. It's not, unless it's an agreement somebody makes going into something like this, like, I'm going to give you this, you'll give me this, whatever. If you decide to do something for somebody you love or somebody you care about, and if we expand that, and you are trying to, like I've discussed in other episodes, live in this state of love, awareness, and caring, then you've got to put that intention behind everything that you do. So when you do that, like yes, this in me performing this act, was that going to put some pressure on me? Sure. Has it? Yes. What control do I have over what somebody does with what I give them, though? Zero. And that goes back to a lot of things we worry about, like what things are under your control. Like you put out, like my friend I talked about earlier, you put out this idea, you talk about your idea, you put it out there on social media, and somebody else takes it. Well, okay, there's a lesson to be learned from that. One, which is something that I believe in my heart, is you don't talk about shit you're going to do. You just do it. And then that kind of cuts down on the chances that anyone's going to take anything from you. Not that that's part of my strategy, but that's part of the reason why you shut the fuck up and you work. and you do your thing. You build your empire. You build whatever you're trying to build, and you keep it to yourself, or you talk to the people that you care about or care about you about it. But nobody else needs to know. Nobody else, it's nobody else's business what you're doing, unless you make it their business because you're trying to get something. And that might sound harsh to a lot of people, but a lot of people will put out oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to, blow it up, blah, blah, blah. Well, are you? Are you sure? Or are you just trying to get some validation back? Because a better strategy, I'll tell you this right now, a better strategy is just hunkering down, doing the work, being consistent, keeping it close to your heart and keeping it close to, the people that you love, and just doing the work. Just do the work. You don't got to talk about it. You don't got to make it other people's business or be spotlight yourself. Look at me. I got this fucking thing going on. Just do the work. Everything else will take care of itself. And depending on what your intention is behind doing the work, if you want to blow up, whatever your reason behind wanting to fucking blow up, is your business. It's not mine. It's your business. Just like everything else you do in life is your business. So keep that close to your heart and just do the work. Just do the fucking work. And, shit's going to get taken from you. You're going to lose stuff. Stuff is going to get taken from you. That is outside of your control. If someone takes advantage of you, if someone steals something from you, if someone takes something from you, my mindset is, fuck it. If you need that more than I do to validate yourself, to do this, that, or the other thing, then please take it. I can't give you this fast enough. Because I don't need that. And when I say that doesn't say, I'm not saying that makes me a better person. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying my shift in needs is just different than yours. If you think you need this thing that you are taking from me, or, trying to manipulate me or something like that, have it. Have it. Please have it. And I will give it to you. I will put so much fucking love behind it. Just take it. Too easy. Too fucking easy. We make things back. Sometimes you go back 2, 3, 4 steps, and and you can you got a couple things you can go through in your head on your own, and that's I can attach everything to this and make everything about me being taken advantage of, or I can make everything about somebody doing this thing to me, and that gives me an excuse to act this way or that way or some other way. And now all of a sudden you're living in fear of constantly being taken advantage of and people manipulating you. And now you've turned into basically, I don't know, a fearful idiot, kind of, in my opinion. Because you've created this fear in your head that's either sure, I guess it's legitimate, but every time I get in my car and go to the fucking mini mart, there's a million things that could happen too. And I don't stop every fucking 3 seconds and be oh, what about this? What about this? Just fucking live. Just live. Just live, people. Just live. Okay. That's, oh man. Stuff that's been floating around in my head for a bit. But anyways, I'm going to take a quick break here, and then we'll come back and talk about guy I've become good friends with. through another friend over the months. We always have some good talks when I'm down visiting, and this is one of the things he discussed about me, and it really resonated with me because I've got two amazing coworkers I work with that are doing work in regards to veteran suicide, which is and has been for a while at epidemic levels. And Ed, I'm gonna talk about your idea. All right. So when I come back from this little break, we're gonna get into that and talk about some programs for veterans and some things that might change that landscape of veteran suicide. Anyways, you guys fucking rock, and I'll be right back. Hey, so I'm back. There's no great way to start this topic. If I'm being completely honest, between our last break and I needed to take a little walk and kind of reset my mind, because if I were to allow myself to get incredibly emotional or angry about this topic, it would be extremely easy. It would be extremely easy. Because the numbers of men and women whose lives are being claimed every day because of this, if it were anything else, would be talked about on the news every single day. And it's what we're talking about is veteran suicide. Yes, a heavy topic. Also a topic worthy of being discussed. Every single day on this planet, 22 veterans of the United States military, on average, take their own lives. Those numbers get exponentially larger when you factor in every other country that is in a never-ending conflict with somebody else for whatever reason. And they have their own numbers too that are probably disproportionately as high as well. Once we get past the reasons why we don't talk about it, or maybe getting into the reasons why we don't talk about it, or would create a better discussion. I don't know. I do know that it is a fucking huge problem. And it's not something, being a veteran myself, it's not something that's discussed, prior to going in. And not that I think that should be something, because I don't necessarily believe in putting unwarranted fears or the fear of possibility in people's heads before they do something. But when an 18-year-old man or woman sits down and signs on a dotted line and doesn't really get to think through the fact that you're signing up for this contract, the things you see, do, or experience during this contract may end up in you taking your own life at the end of it. And those can be for a number of things. Feeling useless when you get out. Here. Inadequate. Not getting the training that you thought you were going to get. Not doing the proper research yourself before you got in or while you were in. So when you get out, you are sitting there kind of feeling helpless. There's a host of reasons. Some of those fall on us as veterans, as individuals, and some of those fall on those organizations within our government that made us promises to help with those things when we got out, with those transitions. And it's is what it boils down to, is it is a shared responsibility. And I will just say this, if you're of the mind of, well, we shouldn't be somewhere in the first place, or this, that, or the other thing, or the military is, you're just a hired mercenary or whatever, I'm not going to change your mind. Nothing I say is going to change your mind. If you're of that mindset, fine. But I would say to you, when you're 18 years old and you truly, truly believe in something, having that perspective, when you're 30 or 40, that's quite convenient, is what I'll say. Because I'm sure you didn't have any other abnormal or crazy expectations as a 18-year-old woman or 18-year-old man. I'll just leave that there. So where does that leave us, though? We can't point the fingers, can't play the blame game at anybody in this, because we should all own responsibility for this. The things that we enjoy, and you might be just like I am in regards to when someone comes up and says thank you for your service, or whatever, or thank you for fighting for our freedoms. Initially, I don't know what to think. But the way we live, our way of life, has been created and is maintained by the men and women that serve this country. There are no two ways you can split it. You might say you love it or you hate it, but you benefit from it. And you participate willingly in the system that it has created and the system that it benefits. So keep that in mind during this episode. So what are some of the reasons why our men and women in service make, when I was in the military, that it always gets said to me, don't make a permanent decision for a temporary problem. And a lot of you that have served might ring a bell. I'm sure it's what a lot of leadership tells junior soldiers, senior soldiers, sharing that with each other as well. Don't make a temporary or a permanent decision for a temporary problem. And that's what we need to realize as veterans going through some of these things, is what the hardship you are going through is temporary. The hardship you're going through is temporary. You can get through this. It's just like when, day one of boot camp, you get off the bus and you got all these people screaming and yelling in your face, and you're like, as the screaming and yelling is going on, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like you got through that. And there's an infinite number of things that you got through leading up to the point that you got out. And one of the problems is you don't give those things credit. When you achieve something, whether, albeit, it could be quite small while you're in. When you achieve something, you've got to attach some weight to that, because that's later on in life, you're gonna go through some tough shit, and you might need to, backtrack and take it back to some of those very small things that you got through while you were serving, that will boost you back up and give you that strength to get through those tough times that you're gonna experience, because you're gonna experience them. You can, we're idiots if we think we get over one hump and it's gonna be smooth sailing from here on out. No, life happens. And so you gotta put some attachment of strength towards some of those things that you get over leading up to that. I had a lot built up before I joined the military, thankfully, because I joined at an older age. And that just built upon what I had already, but that didn't stop me from experiencing a bit of depression when I got out. And I know that's a scary word. It's a word we're all afraid to use, or either afraid to use or use too often. I'll say that. Afraid to use or use too often. But that didn't stop those feelings from coming, but I'll tell you what, it made getting over them so much easier. So much easier. but is what I want to it's what I want to talk about. There's how was this episode born? Well, it's I was down in Vegas. There's an amazing woman that I've got to know, Devin, spend some time with, and she's got some of the most kick-ass roommates that she rents rooms to in her house, and fucking amazing guys. And one of them, you know, I'm becoming friends with all of them, but one of them is his name's Ed, and we were kind of talking this last weekend. I was down there, and I wish I could remember exactly how the conversation started, but he got my attention just by how passionate he was about it, and that should be a clue for anybody out there. And just talking about listening and cueing in on each other. When you're talking with someone or you know someone and a certain topic hits and that level of passion or emotion goes up exponentially when a certain topic comes up, that right there cues you in, should cue you in. Okay, this is important. This is important. This is the person I'm talking with, so that's important to them. So guess what? It's important to me. It should be important to me. And this is something that all of us should take away from any interaction, is that when that level of emotion is ratcheted up in a conversation, when a certain topic comes up, okay, who's the most important? Let's take a step back real quick. Who's the most important person in a conversation? Who? The person right in front of you. So if the level of emotion is ratcheted up and something seems to become very important, guess who else that should become important to? You. So Ed, not to say that he got worked up about this, but it was obviously something he was passionate about and had been thinking about and had discussed to some other people about and thought out. And so as as someone who I'd like to think is a decent human being, I clicked in my head like, hey, I want to hear more. And that's another thing for you people to, like, you bosses out there, you people interviewing people, or friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. It's when someone brings up an idea to you, listen. Because there's something that's incredibly cool about that. When they're excited about something or when they're passionate about something, and you sit there and be like, well, I might agree with you or I might disagree with you, but here I am sitting in front of somebody that's totally awesome and they're really passionate about this. God, I want to know more. Tell me more. Let's find out if this can work, because it's a cool thing. It's a really cool thing. But so Ed started discussing this with me, and about how some of a lot of the issues that veterans experience when they come out of serving. And he correlated it into I think it was a program that he might have witnessed or experienced growing up, and Ed, I'm sorry if I'm getting this completely wrong. We will talk again soon, no doubt. But it was, he recognized the issue of veterans having this loss of self. If I'm, I don't know if that's the right choice of words, but I'll just use that. A loss of self when they get out, and how those leadership qualities and those everything you learn. And it doesn't matter whether you're, an infantryman, a medic, however your hierarchy of what you think is a cool job in the military or not. It doesn't matter where you fall on that. There's a certain amount of skills, leadership and otherwise, that you acquire. And how those can be implemented into the community, through talking to kids at high schools not just like an occasional thing because I know when I was going to high school, you'd have like on Veterans Day or something like that, you'd have somebody come in and talk, but it might have been somebody that had been out for like 40 years and this is not to discredit anyone that had served at any period of time in the history of the United States military, but it does make it more difficult for those you are talking to relate. Let's say, like there was a very powerful speaker that came to my high school. I still remember him, but he was a Vietnam veteran, and we were in I believe the midst of, Gulf War II, I think at that point. And although there are carryovers, there's certain experiences that soldiers internalize from one experience to another that are very similar, but communicating those to a certain audience, depending on that audience's age, can vary as far as the effectiveness of that message. So again, nothing against anyone that has served at any point in time. It's that doesn't take anything away from your service. It's just the time period when you're discussing that, sometimes getting that message across to a certain audience, it helps to. It seems to be most relevant with people that get out, sooner or around that time. Like someone that just gets out, put them into this system. And this is what Ed was talking about, this system of getting veterans out there into, talking at schools, talking at community events, guys that just get out, not, and again, not to displace other veterans from other eras. That's not what this is about. Was a new, fresh idea to me that seemed something that had some legs and something that has potential. And getting those new veterans out and getting them talking to small groups, small classes, large classes, assemblies. This is one of the things I kept in my discussion with my friend Ed was, that was one of the things that really, I know, one of the many things that lit me up about VetPaw. And that's the group in South Africa that I'm involved in, Veterans Empowered to Protect African Wildlife. This this group of post 9/11 veterans that my friend Ryan Tate, the CEO of ETPOS, set up, I believe 7 or it might be 8 years ago now, to implement the skills that post 9/11 combat veterans accumulate in their service, that they can get out and they can use those to make a world-changing difference. Not just a difference. That's something that's very general, but a specific world-changing difference. These post 9/11 veterans can get out. They can take the skills, and it doesn't matter what you were. If you think you're the infantry and you just got, the skills you learned were not applicable at all to the real world. Well, guess what? There's a lot of things in the real world that your skills are very applicable to. You can still defend. You can still protect. You can still recognize what is important in this world and help protect that and keep it around for everybody else. And in doing that, you leave an indelible mark on this world. When you make a difference like that, you leave an indelible mark on this world. Veterans, you have an opportunity when you get out to leave an indelible mark on this world. Hey guys, I'm back obviously. It's a good episode when I lose the glasses. Blue Blockers by I don't know. I can't remember. Anyways, I did not want to leave today's episode without giving a shout out to I talked about my friend Ed earlier. I did not want to leave today without giving a shout out to 2 amazing individuals that have kept the discussion going about veteran suicide through a lot of their social media posts and working with an amazing organization. I would like to point out today also Mission 22. The 22 referring to the 22 veterans that take their own lives every day. Those 2 individuals that I want you guys to recognize, I recognize them, are Ronnie Hayden and Jared Starkle. Like I said, they're driving this discussion. They're keeping it going. They're getting it out there, posting workouts every day, raising money for this cause, and yeah, that's what we need. That's just what we need. And so I don't give those guys a follow, like their posts, stuff like that. Keep encouraging them. Not that they need it or anything, but it's always nice to get, a little encouragement, a little pat on the back. But and it's a discussion that we need to continue. And yeah, this is we got to when more guys are taking their lives
when more soldiers are taking their lives when they get back home. We got to do something about that. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And you guys fucking rock. All right. Keep hammering and keep rising.